Is it true that Jungkook, the BTS member known for his calm demeanor, cried because of HYBE's treatment of Taehyung? Why, in recent months, have signs of tension continued to emerge behind the scenes of the South Korean entertainment giant? The issue that has been spreading since the end of the first quarter of this year has now entered a new phase. The emergence of internal leaks, indirect testimony from industry sources, and keen public observations of changes in the members' behavior have prompted a major question. Is something being kept from the public regarding internal dynamics between Taehyung and HYBE's management? The origin of this issue is not mere baseless speculation. Public attention intensified after, in an unreleased military broadcast, someone strongly believed to be Jungkook was seen in an emotional state, even shedding tears, while speaking via video call with someone widely believed to be Kim Taehyung. Some ARMY fans, known for their meticulousness, linked voice recordings, snippets of conversation, and Jungkook's facial expressions as signals that there is a conflict unfolding, not between BTS members, but between the artist and the company. A lingering question in the public's mind: is HYBE taking actions that are not approved by all BTS members, particularly Taehyung? Unconfirmed reports mention that some internal decisions, including delays in Taehyung's solo campaigns and the redirection of promotional resources to other projects, have created discomfort. The story heated up when a former HYBE employee gave an anonymous statement to Korean media saying there is unequal treatment in solo projects among BTS members, which immediately sparked wild speculation about who is being affected. Some industry observers say what Taehyung is experiencing may be a form of subtle silencing. In K-pop, it's not new for companies to try to control the public narrative of their artists. But what sets HYBE apart is how tightly they seal internal matters, said a Korean entertainment industry expert who requested anonymity. Taehyung has always been expressive and not easily influenced. There could be friction when principles and corporate interests no longer align. But what is most shocking was the report that several of Taehyung's solo projects were suddenly canceled without official explanation. Even some promised international collaborations were never announced or released. This raises a big question. Is Taehyung being systematically held back? If so, by whom and for what purpose? The situation grew more dramatic when Jungkook, long known as the member closest to Taehyung, began showing noticeable changes in several interviews and live broadcasts. In one live stream session before his military enlistment, Jungkook paused for several moments when asked about V's solo project. His facial expression changed drastically, and though he tried to divert the conversation, fans could not miss the sense that something was being hidden. His tears couldn't lie, wrote a fan in a BTS community forum. He looked like he was holding back emotion when talking about Taehyung. It wasn't just sadness, but like someone who felt helpless against something much bigger. Many fans believe Jungkook's tears were a silent protest against what Taehyung is experiencing within their company structure. HYBE itself, as usual, chose to remain silent. No official statement has been made regarding the alleged internal tensions, and all promotional activities continue as usual. However, the absence of clarification only fuels public suspicion. Could this be a strategy to calm the storm without admitting that there's a major issue behind the scenes? Another fact that strengthens public suspicion is Taehyung's absence in some of BTS's latest promotional materials. Though he is serving in the military, the difference in how his name is mentioned compared to other members is quite striking in press releases and the company's social media content. This is not just a coincidence. In this industry, every word choice has meaning, said a media communication analyst. The public was also shocked by the appearance of a former promotional staffer who gave an unexpected testimony on an online community platform. They wrote that they personally heard internal discussions about redirecting Taehyung's solo projects to support another artist recently debuted by HYBE. Without naming names, the testimony hinted that internal pressure and business priorities may have sacrificed the individual project of a BTS member deeply loved by fans. If the company really did that, this is not just a matter of marketing strategy, but ethics, said a global industry observer. He added that a company's shift in priorities too focused on profit can destroy the emotional bond that has been built between artists and fans for years. The impact didn't stop there. In recent weeks, HYBE stock experienced slight fluctuations, driven by negative market sentiment reacting to perceived internal instability. Although not officially acknowledged by the company, some financial analysts noted that public perception greatly influences the company's performance, especially when involving BTS's prominent name. So, where is this all heading? Could Jungkook take drastic action if this tension continues? Will there be an official statement from HYBE, or will Taehyung himself speak directly once his military service ends? The answers to these questions remain a mystery, but one thing is certain. The silence that exists now is not just a pause, but a sign of something much larger behind the scenes of South Korea's entertainment industry. However, in addressing the entirety of the growing information, it is important for all of us to pause for a moment and ask, did all of this really happen? Were Jungkook's alleged tears truly a genuine expression of deep disappointment toward HYBE's treatment of Taehyung, or are they merely fragments of a narrative constructed to evoke emotion and draw public attention? Is it possible that these reports were engineered to generate sensation without a solid factual foundation? We must emphasize that the information in this article was gathered from various open sources such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and other online community forums. These sources are often places where rumors spread quickly, without confirmation from official parties. Therefore, are we witnessing a hidden truth, or are we instead becoming victims of a narrative deliberately shaped by collective social media opinion? A reflective and skeptical attitude must always be maintained. Is it true that HYBE is pressuring Taehyung? Or is this narrative being exaggerated by certain parties with vested interests? Was Jungkook's expression in the viral video truly connected to injustice toward Taehyung, or is the context entirely different? Are we too quick to believe in visual fragments without understanding the full context behind them? It is important to remember that emotion is not evidence, and virality is not validation of fact. In a world where information spreads so rapidly, we are faced with the challenge of distinguishing between facts and opinions, between data and perception. Therefore, we invite you, the readers, to ask critical questions. What is the purpose of this information? Who benefits from it? What is the impact on public opinion? And how should we respond as informed and responsible digital information consumers? Therefore, once again we emphasize, think critically. Respond to every piece of information with questions. Examine the sources. Seek confirmation from official statements. Do not be swept away by emotion before knowing the actual context. And most importantly, be part of a society that is not easily manipulated by waves of sensationalism. Thank you for your attention. Let us continue the discussion with a cool head and an open heart.